Greetings this morning with a sliver of wild nature. Summer coming to a crescendo, consistent dropping of leaves and seeds and the remnants from the trees. The vanguard of the great purge. The trees are changing greens, different shades of greens. Preparing for the looming change and the ultimate letting go. My name's Austin J. Haynes. I want to welcome you to Power of Pure Presence. I want to welcome in our audiences from Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Roku. Thanks to our partner E37 TV for allowing this show to distribute all over the globe. And if you are on the podcast, you're getting this on the playback and you're hearing the various sounds that a cacophony of interesting sounds echoing in the background. As I walked up here, there was a woodpecker, but alert to my presence, I think that woodpecker has relocated. But I want to welcome you in this morning. We're going to be talking about letting go, the power of letting go. And you might find yourself in a season of letting go. We're going to talk about the nature element of that and the wildness of it. And maybe there's a wildness in letting go. What does that mean? We're going to get into that. And maybe you are coming into this off of a busy week. Maybe there's some aggravation that happened throughout the week. What I want you to do is let's usher in some breath right now. I want to talk to you about a parking ticket that I got. I'll talk about that. So what I want to invite you to do is to find your breath. It's the timeless things that we go back to again. And breath is one of them. And we don't think about it because we think, oh, we just breathe every day. But every show I talk about this element of what the breath does to the nervous system almost instantly. So when you pause now and you breathe and you breathe deep, we make that a practice during the show because Monday morning is going to roll around. Your body, your emotions, your nervous system are going to respond. And I'll talk about that. But what I want you to do right now is just pause and breathe. I'm going to step out of the frame here. And this is a basic thing. But if you don't do it here, you won't do it Monday morning. You won't do it Tuesday morning. So pause now. Begin to make it a practice. If you've been watching the show, you know I talk about this every show. If you're new to the show, this is an opportunity to go back to something that you've known and do it. I invite you to breathe in through your nose, pause, and then exhale. So and I'll just step out of the frame here and listen to the sounds, see how far you can see, or just close your eyes and breathe. Did you pause and breathe? Did you take the time to just do that simple step? Breathe in through your nose, let your belly expand. And why is this important? Other than the obvious reasons. Welcome, everyone. I'm glad you're here today. We got a couple comments. Good morning, Mandy. The birds are divine. You're gonna hear more of that as we allow this moment to unfold. So I got a parking ticket this week. Yes, I deserved it, but there was a side of me that was kind of like, I had this voice kick up in my head. So here's what I want to share with you. Not to go down the rabbit hole with the parking ticket. Good morning, Lori. Good to see you. So when I got the parking ticket, the emotions flared. My emotions flared. And all this is going to come together, these themes. So think about your own journey as I'm sharing mine. Getting a parking ticket. Now I'm angry. I'm upset, right? But here's what I want to share with you. What did I do? First of all, the voice is kicking up in my head. And it's running the scene again. What happened? Which I won't go into all the details. But here's what I did. Wanting to react. I'm thinking about all these reactions, these things I could do. Oh, I could go to weird, just crazy thoughts. So I just focused on breath. So in other words, as this circus of thoughts, because that's really what it is, a circus of thoughts and emotions are playing out in my mind, I'm just breathing deeper and breathing deeper. Power of pure presence. Power of pure presence. Now, there's some stuff going on behind me too. I love it. But think about this, and I'm going to get your shares here too. When something happens, there's a residual of emotion, energy in the body, thoughts, emotions, and you can become constrict. And when you constrict, your chest can constrict. People talk about it. And that's the time to pause and breathe. Thanks for being here, Mandy. Moment is gone, cannot allow change. Beautiful. Exactly. So the moment happened, but what I want to share with you is when you constrict, that's the time to focus on the pause and breathe. It's easy to do it here in nature. But when the body constricts and you can focus on that breath, you are conditioning your nervous system and you are increasing your ability to be present, void of reaction of the circumstance. And here's another little sidebar. I just saw James Nestor, who wrote the book Breath, New York Times #1 bestseller. He basically says that the lung capacity of an individual is a huge factor of their longevity. So as your lung capacity, the ability to take in air, your ability for your lungs to take in air and then process that into the bloodstream is connected to your longevity. Breath, breathing in the tough moments when the body's constricting and the ego wants to react, step back. Sometimes it's for just a microsecond because you're in a situation. But sometimes you can say, excuse me, I just need to make an exit. Go find a spot, the bathroom, outside, and just breathe. Breathe through that tough moment. And then you're resetting your nervous system. You're learning to be present. And then you're learning to respond from a deeper place inside yourself, not react to what the ego wants to do. So when I got the parking ticket, I was pissed off. I was going to do this and do that. And then I just kept breathing deep. And then I went out and did a healthy activity, bike riding. And then it's going to dissolve. Think about it this way. There's challenges you had 20 years ago. Some of them you remember, maybe they were traumatic, but others, the trifling things. Do you remember a parking ticket you got 20 years ago? Do you remember the time the person cut you off 20 years ago? 10 years ago? Yesterday? Most likely you don't. So it will dissolve with time anyway. So why not just breathe through it and let it dissolve and tap into yourself. And then in this process of you're letting go. So you're allowing the letting go. I got this little chipmunk here. It keeps visiting me. Let me see if I can get him. Oh, he's too fast. He's darting around in front of me here. He or she. So breathe. We're going to do it right now because I can just take a moment again, and I'm just going to share with you as we're doing this. Breathe. Your aggravations from earlier this week can dissolve. The thoughts that were racing through your mind, let the breath, the deeper breath through the nose, allow these things to lessen in power and ultimately dissolve. Allow a new resolve. So I'm going to step out of the scene. Just listen. Just listen. If you want to close your eyes or just look. Listen, your mind was racing all week. You found this show right now, whether you're new or you're returning. Why not let it touch you, even if it's for a micro moment? Letting go can be. All right, now I got a bee that wants to. Bumblebee wants to fly in my mouth or my ear. No, you're not invited. Very, very aggressive. Okay. All right, we're back. So we talked about letting go. We talked about the mind racing. Think of your life in nature. We're in nature here. Think of your life in nature daily to be shown matter. To come in contact with it. Rocks, trees, wind on our cheeks, the solid earth, the actual world, the common sense. Contact, contact, contact. Who are we? Where are we? So that's Henry David Thoreau, 1864. And I wanted to share that with you today because I want to invite you to go into your little sliver of wild in your neck of the woods. Get in contact with what's real. Pause and breathe deep. Allow the dissolution of thoughts, overthinking. Find the moments, although fleeting, where you're in the void and you're just in touch, you're connected. And these beautiful spaces, these beautiful moments can change your life. And it's what you long for, I believe. You just don't know it. And I've had some very high-profile people watch the show and go, "You're onto something there," because the world is filled with content. We crave more content. How much content do you need? You have access to everything at your fingertips. But what is lost in the process it is in vain to dream of a wildness distant from ourselves. Find your set. Let me grab your shares here. I got some people live, so if you're on the playback. Duchess DJ Love, one of our sponsors, gallivanting like a royal. And I got a bumblebee that, not a bumblebee, but a little yellow jacket that just refuses to leave me alone. But that's okay. He's about, whoa. I got a chipmunk. I got a woodpecker. I got a bumblebee. So we're in the wild, right? So it is in vain to dream of wildness distant from ourselves. So is letting go a form of wildness? Good morning, Dana. Let me just grab your shares here. Great wisdom also reminds me of this very profound quote. He lives most life, whoever breathes me. Ooh. That's a perfect supplement to what we're talking about this morning, Dana. And I was just doing some research with James Nestor on one's, and I want to finish that thought, that one's lung capacity leads to longevity. So if you don't have that right now, this is why I make the breathing a process. And then when you pause, there's tissue at the bottom of your lungs that hyperoxygenates your blood. So when the air gets to the bottom of those lungs, there's tissue there that pulls it right into the bloodstream, and it creates miracles in your body. Your nervous system calms. You go from sympathetic to parasympathetic. Sympathetic, fight, flight, fright. Parasympathetic, rest, refresh, digest. Where do you want to live your life? Do you want to live your life in fight, flight, fright? Do you want to live your life in a state of rest, refresh, digest? And we know that there's two types of pressures. There's healthy pressure, there's unhealthy pressure. Many of you have been tired in a good way. You're so tired, but you're excited. Many of you have been tired and burned out because it's another day doing what you don't want to do, what is zapping your soul. So I'm going to share a couple things here as we get ready to close out. So what is it you need to let go of? And the one thing I wrote down, this is a quote. Early on in our lives, we think that acquisition is fulfillment. I'm here. I need that. I need to go there. I need that person. And we live our lives. This little bird just visited me. I got a bird and a chipmunk right here. Hi. Hello. Hello. I wish I could turn the camera. Maybe I can. Let's see if we can do this. How sweet was that? Little miracle moment here. So what is it that you need to let go of? And I said letting go can be a wild proposition because letting go can lead to its uncertainty, like we're embracing uncertainty when we let go. But think about nature. The great purge is going to happen. See, nature doesn't hold on, it lets go, but we as humans can hold on to stuff to our own detriment. And one of the things I learned this week is a thing called a reverse bucket list. A reverse bucket list, where you look at all the things that you wanted and you maybe say, is this really what I want? Or you look at the things that you've already acquired and you say, do I need this anymore? Can I let this go? And I think what you're going to find is that you don't need as much as you think. And there's a bird right here next to me too. This is awesome. And you can find fulfillment in simplicity. So here's what I wrote down. We think that fulfillment is in what we acquire, but our greatest liberation is realized in what we're willing to let go. And sometimes when we don't let go, life comes in and makes it really hard for us to let go. Life comes in with a situation or circumstance that we didn't want. It's really hard. And then at some point we might go, that's exactly what I needed. And I just wasn't willing to embrace it. I have had people that I've worked with where that's happened. So I'm going to pause for a minute and just let you know, my name is Austin J. Haynes, and I'm the host of Power of Pure Presence. It's been my greatest revelation has come through presence and then poetry. I'm writing a poetry book. Let me see if I can share that with you. And it's going to encapsulate, well, it's going to point you to something deeper. Through nature, poetry, prose, speaks to your heart and soul. So I'm going to keep asking you, what is it that you need to let go of at this time? Thanks, DJ. I see you on there. And I want to invite you to go check out DJ's platform, Gallivanting Like a Royal, travel on a budget, traveling like a royal, but with strategy, budget conscious. Even if you don't have the resources, DJ gives you the resources. So is that tonight? Is that your episode tonight? Dementia travel tips. Is that tonight? So just let me know if that's tonight, your show. Okay, good. So this is an interesting topic for tonight. Dementia travel tips. Navigating travel with a loved one who has dementia. Season 1, episode 14. I think that's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? And that's over at Gallivanting Like a Royal. So you can check that out. That's a really, wow. Some people might be thinking, I can't travel. My mom or dad has dementia, but maybe you can. So DJ's been doing that with her mom. So make sure you check that out. All right, I promised to go through the Untethered Soul, which is this book here. And I picked up the guided journal because this is a best-selling book. I think he sold like millions of copies of the Untethered Soul book by Michael Singer, all about the voice in your head, letting go and freeing yourself up. So I'm going to share this because I've been going through this journal myself, and I thought, why don't I share this with the listeners so you can take advantage of it too. So I'm just going to go through this exercise that you can go through. And this is about, like I talked about my parking ticket earlier this week. The voice in my head, the emotions. Here's the daily journal reading. If you watch objectively, you will see that when there's a buildup of nervous, fearful, or desire-based energies inside, the voice in your head becomes extremely active. This is easy to see when you are angry with someone and you feel like telling them off, right? Just like happened to me this week. Just watch how many times the inner voice tells them off before you even see them. When energy builds up inside, you want to do something about it. That voice talks because you're not okay inside. Listen to this. Listen to me. You're not okay inside, and you seek to release that energy. So the voice will kick up because it wants to release that energy. It wants validation. It wants to express. And this is why I go back to the breath. So if you want to go into a negative express, go back to the breath. We got a doggy over here now. So we got everybody. We got all things happening. That voice, because you're not okay inside, and talking releases energy. So today, notice the increase of mental agitation. So when you become mentally agitated, notice it. Notice how the mind becomes active. And then if you want to do the exercise, write about how your mind reacted, the inner dialogue that was triggered. And as I look at what I've done now is I look at my reactions from earlier this week, and I've almost become separate from them. So now it's like a separation thing. So instead of me being in the narrative, I'm now out of the narrative, and I'm viewing it. So now it doesn't go away completely, but what it does is it starts to wane, because now you're not the character who's aggravated in there who wants to respond. You're now the conscious observer of it. And I make a practice to do this in different ways and different things that I do. So write about it and how your inner dialogue was triggered. Did you begin rehearsing a conversation with someone? Was fear stimulated? Was there a stab of shame or anger or need? Can you see that the mind's talk is trying to fix discomfort? So the voice, what he's saying is the voice is actually trying to fix something. But the only thing that really fixes it is when you step out of it. You're not trying to fix it. See, this is a paradox. You're just observing it. And when you observe it, it dissolves, or it wanes, or you change your perspective on it. So are you willing to let go today? And I'm going to add a second question. Are you willing to try something new? So if you're willing to let go, maybe you're willing to replace something with something else. Say the best way to change a habit is to replace it. So if there's a bad habit, replace it with a healthy habit. So in closing, pause and breathe. And we're going to end the show that way. Pause and breathe. If you do it now, you can do it on Monday morning when you get that email from the boss or your client, and your body starts to constrict and you want to respond. The voice kicks up. Pause and breathe. Tap into that calmer state. Respond versus react. Be present with whatever emotions are arising. See if you can step out of them. Embrace the wildness. Go find your sliver of wild today. Go find a spot where you can be wild, maybe even just by letting go, right? And become the conscious observer of the noise inside your mind. Separate from it and see what arises up inside of you that's deeper. So my name's Austin. If you're on the playback, I'm going to step out here. Just take some time to reflect and listen. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to, but if you want to play along, just pause and breathe. A couple breaths can change your world. thanks for being here today. And as always, please like and share. If you go over to my YouTube channel, get this out of here. Go over to the YouTube channel. You can subscribe to Austin J. Haynes. And there's my website is austinjhaynes.com. You'll find the information on the poetry book there, all the great things that are coming out. And you can access the YouTube channel there as well. So if you go to, it's my new website, I'm building it, but it's austinjhaynes.com. It's at the bottom of the screen, and you can find most of the stuff I'm working on there. And I want to encourage you, if you like this, you like poetry, subscribe to the new email list that I'm building around the poetry, seedsofinfinitude.com. So that's there for you as well. So thanks for being here today, everyone. God bless. Pause and breathe. Let go. Liberate yourself. Live life fully now. Have a great Sunday.